We here!
Yes, sir!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 6ixYardBox podcast. You are tuning in for episode 109, where today, me, Blake, and European champion Antoine are going over the latest in the Club World Cup with the round of 16 just being over. We are previewing the quarterfinal stage. We are going over the latest in transfer news. We are going over a little bit of Canada's exit in the Gold Cup to Guatemala. What a disgrace. And we're also talking a little bit about this club back here. If you're listening on audio, that is Toronto FC. They have just cut the contracts of Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Bernardeschi. Blake, I'm going to go to you first. First, how are you? Second, is this the worst transfer of all time?
First, I'm doing great. Happy to be back. Second, probably, for a number of reasons. These signings probably led to the worst era of Toronto FC football that we've ever seen. And there's been some dark eras, but the fans hate the club. There's barely any fans in the stadium when they actually play.
Yep.
No playoff success, no playoffs in general. Barely any goals between the two of them. And then monetarily, too. They spent, what, 30, 40?
60 on Insigne alone.
60 million on Insigne alone. That's not even accounting Bernardeschi.
Yep.
And they were a failure.
Yep.
So much money lost. No excitement gained. No footballing skills gained on the pitch.
Yep.
Awful.
So for anybody unfamiliar, TFC way back signed Sebastian Giovinco, short little Italian, from Juventus, was kind of not producing in Serie A anymore. He needed a fresh scene. In comes TFC. He comes here and is arguably the best MLS player of all time.
Ever. Even better than any of the greats who came, like the Zlatans. Maybe not Messi. But, I mean, his impact, honestly, was greater than anyone else who's ever touched an MLS pitch, and it honestly isn't that close.
And it led to us winning the Cup in 2018. In 2018.
17? 18? I don't know. Either way.
One of those. And it was inspired the best time in Toronto FC history. So we have a couple of down seasons. We're down the table. We're like, let's run the whole thing back. Let's sign a short Italian from Serie A, who's not really cutting it in that league anymore, who's kind of getting up there in age. Let's bring him over and let's recreate the magic that was. Let's even bring in Federico Bernardeschi on top of that to guarantee success. And we actually become even worse.
And the thing is, we don't have to touch on this for too long, but I was excited. How are you not excited by a Euros champion coming into your squad? And the Euros was not that far removed when we first signed him. I was excited. A lot of fans were excited. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind thought he would be Giovinco level, just because Giovinco was on such a different status than anyone else that it was hard to replicate that. But we were all excited. And I think the worst part of this whole situation, sure, they didn't play well. Bernardeschi was better than Insigne in a lot of moments, but altogether they just weren't good signings. But it's the way we handled it. It's the way that Insigne didn't play for half the season because he fell out with the management and the higher ups, and just the way it was all dealt with was just absolutely awful. They didn't, fix the problem before it got worse. And now it's worse, and now they're trying to make amends. But it's too far gone at this point.
We're cutting him at least a year too late.
Yeah, and the season's over. The season was over the minute the season started.
Exactly.
It's funny. Someone in a group chat a couple days ago texted me Club World Cup, they had a little MLS break. Does Toronto FC season start now? No, Toronto FC season ended 2 months ago. They're just awful, and finally they cut their losses. Maybe something else will come now. We'll have a couple designated player spots. I don't know if you know this, Antoine, but in the MLS you have 3 designated player spots, which I don't really know the direct qualifications of them are, but it's just highly touted important players. It's
I think they're just not counted in the cap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like so that Inter Miami or LA Galaxy.
So you can go spend crazy money to bring in a star.
But anyway, it was just an awful signing. They didn't deal with it well at all. And ultimately, they're paying for it, and the fans have paid for it the past 3 seasons of awful football. Hopefully something changes. I don't like the manager either. Robin Fraser isn't good.
No.
It's just a lot of shit right now. But I guess this is the start of something new. A lot of change in Toronto sports in the last couple of days. So hoping for better things.
Yeah, very much so. For Lorenzo Insigne, it ended up being $3 million per goal he scored for us.
Wow. How many goals did he score in total?
60 divided by 3? 20?
No, there's no way he scored 20 goals. No way.
Maybe less than that.
No, it has
I think it was
to
like
be less.
17
No way.
or 11.
Maybe 19. Wow, that's crazy.
And how many seasons did he play?
3, but not really on and off 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a player
Never
of his
made an
caliber,
impact
that's
at all.
poor.
Not at all, dude. not at all.
And 19 seems way too high.
And you can just tell he never wanted to be here.
Yeah, no.
You, like from minute one, it was clear as day he came for the paycheck, and that pisses us off on a more football level. You actually look at his numbers, like his goal and assist to game ratio. It's actually not the worst, but it was the impact he had on the field and what he brought to the team was absolutely zero. Brought down the entire morale. Clearly didn't want to be here, and just made TFC not fun. Not that it was before, but yeah, it's just everything that's wrong with like the cliche old player comes to the MLS, ruins a team's reputation by not giving a damn, and ultimately makes the team worse than it was before he arrived. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then there's the Canada paint on top, which we'll get into later. Whatever. Antoine, in other news, how are you feeling about your club?
I mean, I'm feeling great.
Speaking of MLS,
Speaking of MLS, we humbled an MLS team.
badly.
Nothing out of the ordinary, though.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing that we didn't expect, right?
I mean, there's a couple people saying that Inter Miami could have, given us a run for our money.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that at all, though.
They proved you wrong a little bit.
How?
You said that they wouldn't even make it out of the group stage. You were very low on Inter.
100%.
Yeah.
I was
Inter
I
Miami,
was sitting here talking about how MLS would be the least represented, or like the North America MLS in the North America would be the least represented part of the world in the Club World Cup. Turns out it was Africa, with 0 countries there.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
Fair.
But you could tell that it was a miss.
So I didn't watch much of this game. So tell me, like, who was the standout? Like, what was, or was it just utter domination from minute 1 to 90?
Exactly.
It was utter domination from minute 1 to 45, and then
They
after
kinda
the second
took their
half,
foot off the gas.
they just stopped.
Training
If PSG
session.
really played hard in the second half, they could have added 4 or 5 more.
Yes.
And there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yes.
You talk about standout players. I think Vitinha had an outstanding game again.
Agreed.
But it's easy to say these players have had outstanding games because look at the opposition on the other side of the pitch.
Exactly.
You can't really praise an amazing performance from any of these players because they should be playing.
It
like
was
that
business
against us.
as usual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair.
I liked what Messi did in the second half when we kind of
That little chip pass to Suarez.
that was
We
beautiful.
should have
pass.
done something with
when
that.
PSG stopped putting as much pressure and as much intensity as they were in the first half, and Inter Miami had a little bit more of the ball in the second half. You could see glimpses of what Messi can do, and the fact that he can probably still perform in a top 5 league team.
Yeah, but I mean, you
absolutely.
kind of phoned it in at halftime. Like it was already over. You were
Oh, no,
bringing on,
100%, yeah.
you're bringing on guys like Lucas Beraldo. It's a little
Yeah.
bit.
When Lucas Beraldo and Lucas Hernandez come on, we're seeing out the game.
Fair.
Zaire Emery as well.
Yeah.
Making an appearance. You always love to see it, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
His fall off needs to be
No,
studied
chill,
a little
chill,
bit. Yeah, see?
He's had a rough season. He was injured in January, and ever since he came back, it hasn't been the same. But the potential still remains.
Okay. He's still very young. You're right.
Yeah.
You're very right.
He's-
Dembele came on as well.
Yes, he did.
No.
Cool little training session for him. didn't have to do much. This is the perfect game for injured players to come back, though.
Exactly. Exactly. Now you guys play against.
Bayern Munich.
Wow.
That'll be fun.
That'll be a fun game.
That'll be
Fun
really
game.
fun. One side of the bracket is like. It's like brutal. The other side, I think it's literally. Is your side of the bracket the exact semifinals and finals of the Champions League in 2024?
But
Just
reversed.
reversed?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
yeah,
PSG
same teams
Dortmund.
left.
PSG Dortmund and Real Madrid Bayern in 2024.
Holy shit, yeah. I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that.
The other side, though, I think you could tell me about the other side.
The other side. Bro, looking back at what happened.
I get why you said
Give
that
some
now.
context.
So Benfica against Chelsea. I guess we can go to that one now. We're kind of bouncing all over the place game to game, but let's go Benfica Chelsea. So many gripes in this game on just as a football fan, but also as just a Benfica fan. Our poor performance was exposed in this game. Like I think we got absolutely just
Dominated.
dominated.
Yeah, there's
And-
no other word.
When the game got back on with like 5 minutes to go, like the best hope we had in hell was maybe we catch them because we need to score 2. We had to score 2. If we scored 1 off a dodgy penalty, which ended up happening, it's going to go to extra time, and I don't trust us in extra time against this team. So we would have to pull off an absolute miracle. And it looked like it was happening for like a little bit with Di Maria in like the very last kick of normal time, making a draw. But like I knew extra time wasn't going to go well. And Prestiani getting a red card 2 minutes into extra time, you knew right then it was over. And then it was one of those that just after a close 90 minutes, or at least in terms of score line, it's just floodgates open. And when Nkuku scores against you, you know it's bad.
Chill. Relax.
Pedro Neto grabs a second in extra time.
Pedro Neto's been really
and then
good.
Dewsbury
He's
Hall.
been really good this Club World
has
Cup.
been
He has, yeah.
He's been really good.
If that's a sign of what he can do in the Premier League for this team, because this season has been he's been good this season in
Yeah.
the Premier League for Chelsea, but it kind of seems a little unfulfilled in terms of his potential.
Yeah.
If he plays like what he's playing like right now in the Club World Cup in the Premier League, that's a scary player.
It's just if he just continues to get minutes at this point.
I think he would. I think
Hopefully, I don't know.
There's-
You know,
Didn't create
Chelsea, they rotate with
anything.
everyone.
he would.
Every
Yeah, they
two
just sign a lot of
games, bro.
wingers too.
Yeah.
Bro, if they end up losing to like Al Hilal or Palmeiras, I won't even be surprised because they dominate this game, but like Benfica were just so bad. And honestly, like this run for Chelsea is gonna look so bullshit if they make the final, because I'm looking at them and I'm not even overly impressed. I'm not even overly impressed with the money they're spending compared to who they're playing and the results and the performances that they're getting. It's not.
Well,
I'm still not impressed.
with the money they're spending and the performance, like you saw the performance against Benfica. That was a dominating performance.
Yeah, but in terms of like clear cut, it's not even like
Little bias
Trubin-
in here, Drew?
No. It's not even like Trubin pulled off like an absolute masterclass. Like against Bayern, we got dominated, but like they scored, like they created so many chances, and Trubin had to pull off an insane performance for us to not get beaten in that game. For Chelsea, I'm watching it and like I'm not feeling a sense of anxiety as they move forward, because like it's probably going to end in like a, Enzo Fernandez, 25-yard curler that ends up getting pretty comfortably saved. I didn't feel that same sense of danger in this game.
So what doesn't impress you in this Chelsea team?
I just explained it. It was more more Benfica, like our inability, like obviously there are good parts of Chelsea performance. Like I'm just pissed as a Benfica fan, but our performance was so poor, not being able to just keep the ball, than it was Chelsea. Just I wasn't overly impressed with either team in this game.
Okay. They're a good team, though, Drew.
They're a good team.
You would
And
probably
I'm just salty that they're gonna have to like not even get out of second gear to go to the Club World Cup final.
I mean,
And it makes so much money because of it.
Well, let's not write off Palmeiras first and Al Hilal, or Fluminense, who both showed
Yeah,
great
I guess.
things,
Yeah.
which we'll get onto later. But you would probably tip them to reach the Club World Cup final.
yeah.
Yes.
You would say it's undeserved.
I wouldn't say it's undeserved. I would say, like, if they get past all those teams, obviously it's freaking deserved.
Well,
but I'm just
sure
saying
you can
I'm
make
not
an argument for it though.
like
You finished second of your group, beat by Flamengo.
Yeah, Flamengo.
like if we're making power rankings, which as you said is also based off of performance in these games, putting aside the
weren't agreeing
result
with.
that I wasn't agreeing with. To be fair, you're right. I'm not overly impressed with the performances in these games, despite the results.
Okay.
But they could still make the final. So obviously, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm happy. Like I'm not trying to take away from them. I'm trying to go on a deeper level and actually analyze their performance, which I wasn't overly impressed with. But if I'm a Chelsea fan, into the quarterfinals and with a very real shot of making it to the final, it's happy days. It's happy days.
It is.
Fair. Okay. That makes sense.
So kudos to them. The left side of the bracket is infinitely less interesting than the right side.
Than what you had predicted.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. Like, interesting matchup-wise, sure. But, like, dude, I'm so excited to watch Al Hilal again now.
Yeah.
That is true.
Al Hilal
To be
Fluminense,
fair,
I think is the game I'm most excited to watch.
Agreed.
You know what?
Agreed.
Yeah.
In
To be
that
fair,
quarterfinal.
I'm actually really excited for that. Like the smaller teams making impacts and making waves is actually what I'm watching
Yeah.
the Club World Cup
And
final for.
even Chelsea Palmeiras, Estevao against his
Oh,
current-
Yeah.
true.
Oh, I
against
didn't think
his-
about it
the
like
team he's
that. That's
coming up
good.
to be.
Okay,
Okay.
fair then. Fair. Okay, maybe Club World Cup is selling me. It already has. But my point was always the group stage would be clear of the knockouts, because I thought by the quarterfinal stage it would all be European teams.
We will have a non-European team in the semifinal of
and
the
I
Club
love
World Cup.
that.
And
I
that's
love
beautiful.
that.
That is
That's-
beautiful.
that
This is the best case scenario for Gianni Infantino and for FIFA. putting on the Club World Cup because you don't want to get to the quarterfinals and it's all European teams. And in the first couple of days of the knockouts, with Chelsea making it look very easy, with PSG making it look very easy, with Bayern getting a result as well, it just looked like, okay, the Europeans are just stepping on the gas now. They're just locking in a little bit, and now it's going to be easy from here. But that didn't happen. The shocks that we've had in the round of 16 stage that nobody expected is so good for this tournament. I think you disagree a little bit with that with Man City.
With Man City, yes, because I think a juggernaut in Man City need to be in the latter stages of the tournament for the tournament.
We have juggernauts. We have your fucking team.
Yeah, you have the.
But on that side of the bracket now, I think it's great that Al Hilal beat City. Don't get me wrong. Like, do not get me wrong. It's an incredible achievement. Probably their biggest achievement in their club's history, if we're honest.
Yeah.
But I just think the level of football that City play at, you need to have a team like that in the latter stages of the competition. That's just what I think.
He's just an oil fan.
I also like Cherki.
I think that's what it is.
That's awful.
I just think you like Turkey.
You've genuinely been on City's side for like a little too long now.
What's a little too long?
Like, ever since
you weren't saying this during the
look
season.
at the players that they signed. There's so many players to like in that team. I'm sorry, there just is. You have Cherki, Jeremy Doku, Savinho, Tijani Reinders.
Are they likable?
Tijani Reinders. The way that they play football, they are very likable.
I'm not denying
They're
that.
very likable.
I'm not
Ryan
denying
Nouri,
that they can be
that's a
entertaining
likable
at
player.
times, but I just hate City and what they
Yeah,
stand for.
what? Like,
so I'll never be happy
What do they
watching
stand
them.
for?
Oil money, like your club, in a different way, but still.
It's even worse than your club because they're literally state-owned,
Yes.
which I'll never back.
Look at the style of football though.
Which I'll never back until
The
Qatar
football's
buys.
fine, but even then, if
You're
you're
a United fan and you lost to them 3 years. You lost the title to them 3 years or 2 years in a row.
No,
Obviously,
exactly.
you're not gonna like them.
Obviously,
sure,
not.
yeah.
Obviously not. But there's just a moral thing to it too. It's not like they were PSG, or it's not even like they were Chelsea. They were PSG. Like, there were slivers of history there. Yeah, you're not at your absolute best at the moment, but it's like you're still a competitive side. They were nothing, off the radar in the football world completely, before they got state bought and manufactured into a great team. That's why so many people don't like them and will never like them.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way that they play football.
The way they play
But then-
football is great and entertaining. I agree with you on that, but I'm just saying we'll never like City and we'll never.
That's fair enough.
That's just true.
But doesn't that go against your point if you want a giant in there because of what it means to the Club World Cup? But then you're saying that you just like watching the football?
Well, I mean, a giant in terms of their style of play.
I actually
Look how hard it was for Al Hilal to beat City. Like, it's great that they did it.
Yeah.
But you need.
That's what you want, no, out of the Club World Cup?
I agree.
In part, yes.
I agree with what you mean about City. The part that we're disagreeing here is that it's bad for the Club World Cup
I
if
never said it
City
was
are
bad.
not making
I
it.
never said it was bad. I'm saying it's good for the tournament for a big team like that to be. I'm not saying it's bad that Al Hilal are in that stage and that beat Man City, but it might have
saying in
been
general?
better in general if
But
City
we have juggernauts in there. We have juggernaut. We have Bayern. We have PSG. We have Real Madrid. We have Chelsea.
because now you're saying now that Chelsea might have an easier route to the final. We would even never been saying that if City was still in the tournament.
I'm just saying. I'm saying
we might have a
good
quote unquote undeserved team in the final now because City is out.
But it's not undeserving.
According to what he said earlier, it might be.
I wouldn't say it's undeserving. I would say there's a little bit of luck to it. But obviously, if they beat Palmeiras and then they beat Al Hilal or whoever's there, and then they make it to the final, obviously it'll be deserved because they beat the teams in front of them. Same with Portugal in the Euros 2016. Like, you beat the teams in
What
front
do
of
we
you.
call that run?
Yeah, there's a little bit of fortune with what happened in the games and your draw making it to the final, but you can never they beat the teams in front of you and you can never take away from that. So, like I said 5 minutes ago, if Chelsea make it to the final, it will be deserved, even though you could take away a little bit from the performances they've put on thus far. I think City going out at this stage is great, and I'll take that infinitely over them waltzing to the finals. And I think we have a good mix of these small, American term, the small market teams doing well on one side, and then you have the big boys doing well on the other side. I think you have a good mix of the two where there's positives to take away from both of them.
Yeah.
I think right now is the perfect mix of the small guys doing well and the big guys doing well. Because if it was all the big guys doing well, I wouldn't be enjoying this tournament very much.
I think just in terms of style of play, it's good for this tournament to have.
I think with the balance of the small teams with massive fan bases doing well and the big teams with the big fan bases doing well, this is the perfect mix of what is good
it's a
for
good
the
mix.
entertainment
It's a
of the
good
Club
mix for
World
sure.
Cup.
Sure. Still can't sell seats though.
Still can't sell seats because there's like the European fans, let's be real, don't care
But
about
why
it.
do you guys? This is where I'm annoyed. Why is there a caveat with that? They're not selling seats. Period. Like shit on FIFA for that. I don't shit on them. It's like you guys like are trying to find the golden ticket in a shitty situation. Why are we not just saying it for what it is?
It's true.
They're not selling
Not
seats, and that's a negative thing for FIFA.
Yeah, like we've talked about it on this pod. It's like the biggest mistake in organizing the Club World Cup is that when you host games that aren't filled, the occasion of the moment cannot be marketed as a big moment. It can't be. But I think the real reason that's happening is because you're putting the games on in the US during times that people are working. I'm telling you, if this was in Brazil or England or Africa, I don't know, wherever like people really care about football and have shown to care about their teams in this tournament, then you would get full stadiums, maybe a bit smaller stadiums. Like, I don't know why they expected to fill freaking SoFi Stadium with a team in a game with an MLS side and some Brazilian team. But if you put it in a country that actually cares about football, you can focus on actually growing the tournament as a product. And once it's actually grown as a product, you can then market it to the US or to a Qatar or a Saudi Arabia where they actually want to put this thing. But instead, they're focusing on profits more. And I think that's where a lot of the trepidations with you and a bunch of people are coming from. And that I understand a lot.
Fair.
But there's also the other side where it is clear that the fans really do care about this, to me. The fans of Brazilian teams, Argentine teams, African teams, Asian teams. Basically, every single team besides the Europeans have dedicated fan bases in the US right now that deeply care about this tournament and have been showing out.
For sure.
It's just the Europeans do not care about this.
But even with that said, it's still not like the stadiums aren't filled with one set of fans. There's still massive amounts of empty seats.
Like Palmeiras Botafogo, there were still some. There's still some empty seats. But it was visibly much more lively than the European games.
Absolutely. But then again, your point is kind of true. Like it's just a thing that it's on FIFA to even pick stadiums that are too big. Or like you said, the spot, build it up before. Either way, I just think it's just a bad look in general. And the casual people who aren't watching the actual football see that there's empty seats and just laugh at it.
Yeah.
So it's just annoying to see that, in my opinion. And I like to slap in the face to FIFA. I don't know, we talk about it all the time on this podcast. Like the big money industries who don't really give a shit about the product. Mm-hmm. They just want to make money off of it. That's what they did with this. You just said that.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny for me as not as big a hater of FIFA as Miles. That's for sure. But for someone who generally just wants to see good football and a good tournament and a good product, it's a bit of a haha to the company, and I don't hate that.
Well, you are seeing good football. And a good
but that's what I'm saying. I didn't deny that.
If you're Gianni Infantino sitting in your room right now, are you thinking that so far this Club World Cup is a success?
Yeah, he's probably still happy with it. He probably just doesn't love the fact that the seats aren't selling, but that's like the only thing. Overall, the tournament's been good. Mm-hmm. Better than good. I don't think anyone can deny that.
Yeah.
But besides the weather delays and besides the location and besides fans not being able to fucking get in the stadium from the parking lot, like you said.
Yeah.
It's been a good tournament. It's been probably a revenue driver, maybe just break even. The only thing is the tickets.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's just if you didn't have it in the US, this would be an all-time tournament and it would be regarded as such. If this was all going down as it's happened on the field, but it was in Brazil, we would be loving this.
Yeah.
And if you put on at a better time so that the Europeans can watch it and not just hate on it for no reason, then you'd have a great product there. And then you can bring it to the US in 2029. I don't care. But by then it has the hype.
Yeah.
And you're filling more seats either way.
Fair.
It's just that dollar signs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, where do I go next?
You just mentioned it, and I was going to mention it in the Benfica game, talking about it. The weather delays have been a disgrace. And the rules around it, I've looked into more, and it is so not on FIFA, but so frustrating. The rule is, this is U.S. law. This is in line with U.S. regulations for thunderstorms near live sporting events. If lightning is detected within an 8-mile radius, any match in the area must be suspended for at least half an hour, with the clock automatically reset for any further electrical strikes. I understand the safety of it all, obviously. However, in the Benfica-Chelsea game, with 5 minutes gone, and if it's clear that there's no lightning in the imminent sky, just play out the rest of the game. I don't understand it. This is obviously more of like a politics thing than FIFA can do, but it's so clear to me that something needs to be done, or in 12 months' time, we're going to have a World Cup final with potentially a 2-hour weather delay in the middle that kills the entire thing. If that happens, disaster for FIFA, and even bigger disaster for the United States. They got to do something about that.
Actually, I'm seeing here, top headline on The Athletic, Fluminense Al Hilal game to be delayed because of a thunderstorm in Reykjavik, Iceland. So, yeah,
What?
that game's going to be
Are you
delayed.
sure?
Are you,
I'm kidding.
Oh my god, I was gonna say.
I'm
I
joking.
was like, what?
But that's almost what it feels like.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where was the Chelsea game played?
great question.
Because like another solution for FIFA is like just don't fucking put games in tropical weather climates.
It was played in North Carolina.
yeah,
Yeah.
like or like hurricane cities.
Played in the West Coast.
Yes, play in the wet. Play it like I get it. You can play. You need to play a couple games in LA. LA exactly. West Coast in
Yes.
LA. I mean North Carolina. Is that a really big draw? Maybe it doesn't seem like it for me. Throw it in New York. I'm sure they
you're
won't.
talking about stadium sizes now?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I mean, throw it in New York. Why not?
There's also been a World Cup at the U.S. already, and it was fine in '94.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
just the
But,
hype of the tournament in general.
But media's changed so much since '94. It's kind of hard to
Yeah, of course.
fully compare that.
yes.
But anyway, my point being, if the issue, that's another issue that is on FIFA as well. Like in the Floridas, in the North Carolinas, in the states that have really obvious weather crises and weather issues, don't prioritize games or big games in those cities. Go to New York, go to the non-tropic or non-scary weather places that make it easier for fans to watch the game without a 4-hour delay, and then the players don't have to get worried about being struck by lightning.
I know.
I don't know. Again, that's another thing on FIFA, but you're right. Besides the weather restrictions that are just,
I know, but then
mandated.
they go to the West Coast and it's even hotter there, and it's like, oh my goodness. Like the heat issues that they're also having here is even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do.
It's just the fact
but-
that they stopped the games in prevention of lightning
Yeah.
that bothers me.
Yes.
It's like, oh, there might be
Yeah.
a lightning strike. We'll go inside.
Well, it's like one of those. Have you ever been to a
And the town over.
Exactly. That's why I
well,
made
have you ever
the
been to-
Iceland thing.
You ever been to like a tropical weather climate and you're in a pool and then they sound the alarm for you to get out of the pool and like you look up and the sky's just beautiful.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yes.
what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
There's like lightning and there's a couple
In 45
yeah.
minutes.
Bro,
Like,
come
come
on.
on,
Let me
bro.
I'll just firm it, dude.
When I played my youth soccer games when I was 4 years old,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be if a game wouldn't be delayed if there was lightning heard over in Mississauga.
Yeah.
There would be a delay if there was lightning seen in the sky
Where
and
you
you
saw
could
that
hear
shit.
and you
Yeah.
could hear the thunder.
Yeah.
Then the referee will stop it and I'll go, eat some watermelon for an hour. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. You don't-
Prime halftime snack. That.
Yes.
Bro,
I'll have a tangerine.
Oh my god, we should make that a list.
Tier list?
A tier list.
Yeah, halftime snack tier
The
list.
best halftime house
Timbit
snacks.
soccer halftime snack.
Oh.
tier
Oh
list.
my god, bro. Yeah.
I watched my girlfriend the other day, the Rob Ford documentary.
Oh, nice.
Fun fact, My little brother played against Rob Ford's son, like
Okay.
Timbit soccer
Wow.
growing up.
Nice.
Yeah, 2-footed him
Is it in the documentary?
with Big Rob watching.
Is that the doc?
No, it's not the doc.
Oh.
The doc's only 45 minutes. I'm like, what the
Oh.
hell, man?
Unlucky.
Yeah. Moving on though, I think the radius considered for shutting a game down
Yeah.
should be
All right.
reduced.
Talk to the.
Anyways, I
talk to
yield.
the general marshal or whatever. The marshal of air state. Fucking
Some message to the U.S. Senate.
yeah. The security. That's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not our problem. It's not. I mean, it's a little bit of FIFA's problem to figure out. But
Yeah.
they need to do some lobbying, because if this is still the same next year, then we're gonna have some issues.
Like
And host more games in Canada. We're not
Yeah,
having these
we
issues
have-
in
well,
Canada.
did y'all see that the British Columbia?
Yes.
I don't know. What would they?
The
What
Premier.
would it be? The
Premier,
Premier. Okay.
yeah.
The British Columbia Premier was like, we would open our
ready
doors
for
to
more
have
games.
FIFA World Cup games in our province.
Is that how he speaks too?
I don't know. I was trying to maybe, but he was like, not only is it like a good idea, but we would welcome it. We want it. So I mean, it's not gonna happen, but
It's not gonna happen.
yeah,
Less money there.
yeah.
But yeah, the weather delays have been an absolute disgrace. Shall we move on to another game, lads?
Sure.
We've been on this for a while.
Go on, lad.
Let's stay on the games that day. Let's also touch on Bayern's game against Flamengo, where they won 4-2. Thoughts on it?
I was disappointed at Flamengo's beginning of the beginning of Flamengo's game. I thought they started it very poorly, and that's ultimately what led to Bayern scoring two goals very early. Then they bring one back with a Gerson absolute thunder strike. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was a great finish. And in that kind of 15-minute period between the first goal for Flamengo and the end of the first half, you can kind of think to yourself before Goretzka scores before halftime that Flamengo low-key might be able to do it. Their style of play, their pressing, taking the ball off of Bayern, bringing the ball out of their half, like those things that are hard to do against a big team like Bayern. Flamengo were doing fairly well, but then ultimately Goretzka scores that goal that wrong foots the keeper. And even though they come back in the second half with Jorginho's penalty to 3-2, the game was just it was just killed. After that came.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At this point, it really looked like, again, no upsets were going to happen, and then we just got shocked.
Yeah.
You know, at this point in the tournament, I'm thinking, okay, the Europeans are just locking in. This is not going to be a very entertaining round of 16 stage. But boy, was I wrong. I thought in this game, the goals were beautiful by Kane and Goretzka. I, unlike you, never really thought Flamengo were going to do it. Because again, in that moment, I thought it was impossible. Bayern have locked in.
From the way they started the game, it almost seemed impossible, but I got a little bit of hope after Gerson scored that goal.
I think like outside of maybe the Benfica and moments of the Boca game, where I think Bayern were also very unlucky, I haven't seen them like tested yet, which makes me so excited
Don't worry, we got you.
for
Don't worry.
for their game against you guys.
Yeah.
Because like it could be like a shock to them, where it's like they haven't like come up against a really good team that have really tested them and pushed them. Like I think PSG will, obviously.
Kane's been firing though.
He
Like
has.
that's the one thing going up against him. Like he has had all the confidence in the world. He's just
Exactly.
been picking on the shitty teams and scoring bangers. Like
Bayern have
that's-
looked really good,
Yeah,
but they just again have not really been tested.
they're like
yet.
you're right. All of their players like look like they're on their best form right now.
You know what's crazy to me? Musiala doesn't even start.
No,
That's like
no, man.
I know.
he hasn't started a single
In this game, Miguel didn't even. I mean, Miguel did start. Sorry,
Miguel?
but Gnabry is like, yeah,
Yeah.
Miguel.
Miguel.
But is Gnabry and Coman like they just kind of all swap between those in the front three behind the striker?
I know.
Man, their system is fun. Like company's kind of, I get it. Look, let's be a little bit tentative here. It's the Club World Cup, but I mean, he did well with them last year. He's kind of winning some people over. I feel like,
Yeah, and I was
and we were all very skeptical of him coming.
100%. I mean, after that Burnley,
After bloody
that
Burnley, dude, it
stint,
was not looking
it was
too
not
good.
looking too good. We were kind of finding it crazy
Yeah.
that he was going to Bayern after getting Burnley relegated.
I know.
But he's won a couple people over.
Yeah.
And the style of play really is starting to show
Yeah.
with company's
Absolutely.
Bayern. So I'm
Yeah.
liking it. I really like Jonathan Tah so far for Bayern.
I thought it was a weird signing too. A bit of an older guy. I definitely experienced.
It kind of
but
falls into the strategy that Bayern have been
yeah,
taking on
for like
for
years.
years, just
Like, when
taking
they
the
just-
Bundesliga talents, right?
Mats Hummels, here you go.
Yeah.
I'll take it back. No, you can have him back.
You can have
Yeah,
Sule back.
Yeah.
I'll take Sule back. So it's literally that on in the same vein of that.
Yeah.
But it's working, and I really like what Jonathan Tah's showing.
Absolutely. I think this game against Flamengo was the first time Bayern to come up against a team that looks good this tournament. You know, that's in
Fair.
good form. Benfica, as we talked about, not really. Boca, clearly, not really. Auckland City, no comment. This was like the first competent team that Bayern have come up against.
Yeah.
And they look pretty decent, which makes me very excited for them against you guys. When is the game?
It's Saturday.
Damn.
Saturday?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
July
to it.
6th.
Looking forward to it.
Is there like a little break in between right now?
Yeah. There's
Can you
no games
imagine?
today and tomorrow, and then Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, no games,
Nice.
and semis, and then finals on a Sunday. the next
I
Sunday.
also hate the 3-9 starts. I wish it was 12-6.
No, it's 12-4 now.
No, on Friday it says 3-9.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ugh,
could change.
Saturday 12-4 then.
But that's better.
that's much better.
3-9 is just ugh. Yeah. Anyway.
That is true.
Let's
Especially
move
for the
on.
Europeans.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the upsets. The upset day, where you
Yes.
had Inter losing and then you had City losing. Let's start with Inter. They lose 2-0 to Fluminense.
Worst fucking
Wow.
Champions League finalists in honestly since the turn of the 2000s, bro.
Okay, relax.
Let's go through it. Go through it and tell me the worst one.
Bro, come on.
Go, tell me.
No, you have. I mean, Tottenham 2019 definitely sticks out.
Yes.
But
Definitely sticks
they
out.
Yes.
stick out because of the final itself, but they were really good that season.
I think you're only judging them based off
of everything.
based off of after their Champions League final and after the Champions League final.
Yes, this is not the same
If
Inter
you
team.
look-
Their best piece, Inzaghi, just left.
Okay,
so
so-
this is not the same
You
Inter
want to
team.
go through all the Champions League finals?
I mean,
But why weren't you saying this when Inter had just gone crushed? Why didn't you say it then, Blake?
well, because I didn't
Why
have the
did you say
context
that?
of now.
The context of now is irrelevant to the context of then.
No, I kind
literally
of
is no-
but it kind of is
then.
relevant.
No, you're
It's
playing
still- it's still a
retroactive.
similar
You're
team.
playing retroactive history.
Sure, but that's what context does to you. You get new perspectives and you get to add them to a
But
previously
this
wrong
context should not
perspective.
be attached to the Inter of last season because it's a completely
You know what?
different
Fine,
time.
they're great. Inter's fucking fantastic.
No, but
is that what you wanted me to say?
to say
is
that
that what
they're
you wanted me to
worse-
say? You
No,
two?
I appreciate the hot take, Blake, but that's a miss.
But
I'm sorry,
exactly,
that's a miss.
It's a big miss. It's a
Go
big
through
miss.
it, man. Not only
Are
did they,
they-
not
okay,
only did they
I'll
lose
give
out
you
on
this.
Champions League, they
Blake.
lost out on the league. They didn't win in the Coppa d'Italia. They lost everything.
Are
Maybe
they
you were
better?
right. Maybe when you said this was like one of the worst seasons, should it be just looked at as a disappointing season? We talked about that a
I
month
didn't
ago.
say it was one of the worst seasons.
Or disappointing season. Maybe you were right. Because
I was
looking
just
at
asking the question.
looking at it now,
It was for the hook.
See, you guys are such pussies, by the way.
What?
What?
You guys are, bro. Have a take, bro, and stick by it.
We do.
That's a
we
bad
do.
Like
We
that's
do.
a bad take. You're judging this take based on what they did in the Champions League final and after the Champions League final with a completely different coach where the players looked absolutely gassed. Let's just say because half
Exactly.
their team is over
Exactly.
30 years old. They
Exactly.
have no more legs. They're not I
Still
think
the same team that was in
I
the
think
final,
they're
but-
I think they're happy to be eliminated because they can genuinely have a
Genuinely,
break.
yes.
Seriously.
Sure.
If there's one team that is happy to be eliminated out of this Club World Cup, it's Inter Milan because they
Yes.
seem genuinely gassed. So to base your take off of that is a little bit crazy. If you want to go through every
Bro,
single Champions
they
League final, we
beat-
can,
bro,
but there's
lad,
teams
they
that
beat-
come up.
I don't remember who they played in the round 16, but then they beat Bayern and then they beat Barcelona.
Okay, maybe they're
to
the
make
biggest
final.
chokers then. Like I don't know what you want me to say.
Feyenoord.
Biggest chokers of the season. All things considered.
Are they better or worse than the team that made the Champions League final in 23?
Who did that? It was Madrid. And,
Inter. Is
Inter
Inter
City.
better than their 2023 selves that also made the final?
I mean, maybe. So maybe you're right, but at the same time, maybe my take isn't that. Maybe they're the biggest chokers then. That biggest chokers that we've seen in the last 25 years.
Maybe you're saying they're overrated.
25 years is crazy. If you want to
Bro,
talk
they lost on everything, bro.
like we can talk 2020s onwards, then yes, they're probably the worst. Maybe even 2023's Inter might have been a little worse than that. As I don't think they won the Scudetto either. It was
Look,
23.
we can move on because it's not that important.
no, because you wanted to go through them.
I did.
Bayer Leverkusen in 03.
Yeah, exactly.
Was fucking
whatever.
woeful.
We can move on because whatever. But
Liverpool back in the day when it was when Milan towered over them.
yeah, but that
And
team
then they
won
won.
one.
No, but the 2 years after
Oh,
when there was a rematch. Of them.
Oh, okay.
And that was the Liverpool team.
But like at the same time, we can just call them choke artists. and go on with it. But I guess you're right. The added
Call them overrated.
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean to say they're happy they're out after the season they've had.
I think they're.
I
not,
mean
they're not
that's very obtuse.
They're not disappointed.
I guess, but that's a little.
You could say they were overhyped.
They'll look disappointed to the cameras, but I'm sure they're telling their wives, "Oh, finally, fuck."
I mean,
Yeah.
then
They also
the
need
fact
it.
that you're saying that just proves my point.
No,
Then they
it's just-
fucking suck. Then they're losers. No team. If that's the vibe you're getting from that team, then they were losers to begin with.
I just saw a team that has been gassed. That looks gassed the entire tournament, not just this game. They look gassed against Monterrey. They look gassed
You
against
guys
River
should
Plate.
be-
They look gassed against
Yeah, but
Aurora
you
Red
guys
Diamonds,
should be-
and they look gassed against.
You guys
Fluminense.
should be too then by that same
No,
standard.
because the age is just
They're
significantly lower.
they're like mid.
Our
30s.
average age is like
they're
23.
fucking
Their
footballers,
average
guys.
age
Come
is
on, like,
31.
It's a good point.
They're footballers.
It's a good point.
They're footballers.
They're
but
fresh footballers.
The age is catching up to them.
Sure, but that's another reason why they did what they did in the big moments. Fair enough.
It's another reason why they are probably happy that they're eliminated.
Sure, whatever. Fine.
You really think Inter are happy to be going home?
Maybe happy is not the term. I don't think they're as frustrated as like a Bayern or a PSG would be or a Real Madrid would be
Yeah.
if they got eliminated.
I don't know. I
No.
think in the same vein, these last players, like, they're not going to be there for the next Club World Cup when it turns around. Maybe they really want to win it because they're never going to get that chance ever again.
That's a good point. But also, are they valuing it? I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
Probably not.
Anyway,
And on top of that,
Did
they
you
have a
hear
new
what
coach,
Did you hear what Vardiel said actually?
Yeah.
About Jurgen Klopp first said that the Club World Cup is the worst idea in football ever. And then Vardiel gets asked about it and he kind of gives a non-answer, but you could tell like he kind of agreed with what Klopp was saying, but he just didn't want to say it or he wasn't allowed to
He
say
said, "Well,
it.
it's my job. I have to be here."
This is my job, have to be here, and then we'll go and then maybe we'll get a break. He says with like a painful smile.
yeah.
So I think he does agree with Klopp. But like these players do think that a little bit.
I think so too.
That's fair. That's fair.
There's also I saw a quote of Rafinha saying the same thing. Like,
Thank God I'm not there. type
no,
thing.
he's like, "Oh, we have to be there," something like that. And then all the comments are like, "Bro, your team isn't in it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking
Low
about?"
key, in hindsight, I am a little bit happy that Arsenal's not there
Yeah.
because
Probably.
after the season we've had to.
From your perspective, I'd be a little pissed City went out early because they're now going to get more rest.
Yeah. Yeah. You
For
can look
the
at it
season.
like that. It's also just funny. At the basis of what it is, they lost to a team they should never have lost to.
Should we go to that game then, or
Oh,
do
we
you have
didn't
more to
touch on
say against
Fluminense.
Fluminense? There, I knew you
No, we
had
have to touch
something.
You
on-
wanted
we have
to-
to touch on some Fluminense.
Okay, go ahead.
Go on.
Well, I mean, what is there not to love with this Fluminense team? Any team coming out of
Hold on. I'm pretty sure he says this about every single, like, the exact phrase, what is there not to love, about, like, every single underdog team.
I
and
was,
love it,
I
bro.
was just about to say, like any team coming out of that Group E that isn't Dortmund, so Fluminense and the Sundowns, what is there not to like? You can bring Ulsan in that boat if you want. No, they were shit. But
Oh, Sun HD, bro.
the way
High
that
def.
this team is playing in their kind of transition style, fast paced football with John Arias leading the front line.
player.
What a player! First of all,
How old is he?
Let me double check. He is 27 years old. He
bro,
can put in a shift in a European team.
Yeah.
If Strasbourg come knocking, he's taking that. He's taking that role.
Strasbourg.
What?
Such a random.
No, Strasbourg is an up and coming team that had a great season. They're playing Europe. I'm saying it's a very fitting team for him. I think
Okay.
that I handpicked that team. For him.
Okay.
Very methodically.
What's there not to love about Strasbourg?
There's nothing not to love about Strasbourg. So no, but and what I like about this team too is that there's two legends, notably, or three legends with their coach, their goalkeeper, who's 44 years old, and Thiago Silva, who's just a legend of the sport that
Exactly.
has proven
Yeah.
that he can still do it at this level. It's so inspiring for everybody, and the stories that this Club World Cup brings, notably this one, like these are the kind of stories that this Club World Cup brings that
Yeah.
makes everyone start liking it and start getting on the Club World Cup train. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Thiago Silva is still an incredible player. I also really like Martinelli. The wrong Martinelli for Arsenal.
Maybe the right Martinelli.
Maybe the
though.
right
Yeah.
Martinelli after everything is said and done. And Hercules.
Hercules.
That cameo coming on in
Hercules.
the 60th minute, was it? Or the 80th minute, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
He played against Dortmund in the first game when it was 0-0, and I thought he had a great performance. I don't know why he's benched in this game, but again, he reminded me of his performance against Dortmund against Inter this time around. Because he seriously, for the time that he came on, he almost like brought stability back into that Fluminense midfield. And then you score the goal after that, a legendary goal that'll probably go down in the club's history, if we're honest.
A Herculean effort.
A Herculean effort. Great
Good
call,
call.
from the commentator
Yeah.
as well. Nothing not to love with this team.
If you guys
Exactly.
And a real chance to make the semifinals against Al Hilal.
if
Yeah.
you guys make a clip about this, can you please put the song Hercules by Young Thug as the song? Like I know you won't, but you guys know that song?
Big young thug guy.
Ah.
When it comes to rappers, where does he rank?
Oh, like his football comparison?
Sure.
Okay.
I was thinking in the Blake rankings of rappers.
Like he might like okay, ooh, like maybe like who's had like a scandal?
a scandal.
Yeah. Like not Greenwood because he's better than Greenwood.
Mhm.
But
Who's had a scandal?
yeah,
Like a
who's
footballing scandal?
A footballing scandal, but like really good. Like maybe like Paul Pogba. Didn't he have a couple doping tests or
Yep.
something?
That's why I got that.
Paul Pogba
Mudryk.
maybe.
Mudryk?
Actually, no, Paul Pogba is actually really good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But just with a little more longevity.
Okay.
But he's not coming. Actually, I guess he's kind of coming back. Actually, oh my god, wait, yeah, that's such a perfect comparison, bro. Have been around for a really long time. Have had really great moments. Had to leave the sport for a little while due to
Attending circumstances.
running a drug cartel and like that's whatever that happens, right?
Right.
Like it's normal.
Right.
But then they're back now, and like we haven't seen what they can do really with their new life ahead of them.
Okay.
Super good comparison.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Young Thug on his day
Young
was
Thug,
unstoppable.
bro. You actually, yes, 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 yes.
What's the favorite song?
Whoa, with him and Gunna.
Wanna, as they say.
Wanna.
Wanna
One of
be Anyways.
Anyways,
Anyways,
say
my faith in football is restored
Go ahead,
you
Julian.
just-
Take it away. Take it away.
from me or from this?
from
the
City
game, from
losing.
City.
Oh yeah, facts.
Because last week, just to put things in context, Julian texted me before the two-man pod, and I think he said something along the lines of, I can't believe I'm going to have to glaze the City team, but they deserve glazing. So I'm sure this must feel really good for you as a United fan
This
that
feels-
City's eliminated.
This feels absolutely amazing because I thought City were going to waltz their way to a Club World Cup and we were going to have to see that ugly little badge on their kit for 4 years and we were going to have to pretend from City fans that this tournament is important and meaningful to the wider football world
Oh, so it's not.
and the hierarchy. What's that?
So it's not.
No, I'm saying like we'll have to see as it goes.
Okay.
But if City won it, it wouldn't have been important.
Okay, got you.
I wait. I do have a question though. Before we get into it, where does it rank? Where do we think it ranks?
Higher than Nations League, lower than...
So it's.
I think we have to wait
It's a
till it's
club
over.
trophy. So where would it rank among a club trophy? Obviously, it's not
Like
the Prem
what-
or the champion. Obviously, it's not the league title, and it's not the Champions League.
It's higher than FA... Than,
It'd be higher than like a Europa League.
yeah, higher than a Europa League.
Yes.
Is
yes,
it?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the bigger teams playing.
Because it's among the biggest teams.
100%. 100%.
I don't know.
You
Though.
don't have to beat Tottenham to win it. You have to beat Bayern and
But-
PSG and City.
Think of the Europa League before the one we just saw. There's been a lot of
Blake,
big moments
bro,
there.
you're telling me the Club World Cup is smaller than the Europa League.
I don't know. How come you say you have to see how it is, but I say it might be something this, and I can't see how
I'm
it is.
saying
either.
I'm saying we'll see how it is when it comes to like the big two.
It's kind of like the
when it comes to the league and Champions League.
no. Oh my goodness.
No, but I'm not saying it will be, but I'm saying like let's give it a little bit to like kind of
it's like
see
the
what we
same
think
thing,
about it.
like, that's
but
why-
I think we can say already it's like it's bigger than the Europa
it's bigger
League.
than like an FA Cup or like whatever league cup there is in every league.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think it's already bigger than the
It might be third already. It might be third already
I don't know.
Over what? Or
Just-
under what?
under domestic league
Okay.
and under Champions League.
Okay, yeah, probably.
I don't know. I need more time. I need a lot more time. I need at least one more.
In
tournament of it.
2029, yeah, we'll be saying
I need-
Or
100%.
Yeah.
like, I mean, for like a South American team, where does it rank? Because we're just saying Champions League, but like,
For South
there's
American
also like a
teams,
couple
Libertadores.
But that's
Libertadores.
different,
There's
yeah.
also
It's probably...
Again,
Libertadores means a lot to the South Americans. I know that.
so,
So it's probably
yeah,
right below that.
There's like the CONCACAF
Yeah.
Champions League,
but
as
that's why
well.
like context matters in
Like if
every
Inter
single
Miami,
team.
if Inter Miami win the Club World Cup over the CONCACAF Champions
Oh, well,
League, that's miles
ooh,
clear
that's
for
probably the
them.
biggest
That's
achievement
oh,
ever.
don't no,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
miles.
You
clear.
don't know
It's
anything
probably
about.
bigger.
You don't know anything about the CONCACAF Champions League.
Like, do I need
Cruz
do I
Azul
need
in
to?
Yes, you do, bro.
Do I-
That's like that. That is like footballing heritage for the American teams who have tried to win it for so long because it's never happened.
Yes,
Who was in the final this year, Julian?
it was Cruz Azul
And?
versus
That's crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
know who it was either.
Seattle.
No. Vancouver. You knew this.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was Vancouver. Fuck.
Anyway, Kate, maybe you're right. But I don't know. It is that thing where it's like You know, we had this conversation about how the Euros might be harder to win than the World Cup at times
I forgot about
because
the Euros, yeah.
like
It's not.
but the Euros has a better player pool than the World Cup, 100%.
It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Player pool?
Yeah, 100%.
No.
Like average
In the World Cup,
on
you
the
have all the-
average team.
Yeah, the average team of the Euros, I would think, is better than the average team of the World Cup, especially with the 48 expanded.
Well,
now.
yes, but it doesn't mean that
But
it's
even
easier
before
to
that.
win. It doesn't mean that World Cup's easier
Well,
to win.
there's an argument. There's an argument to make. You're definitely right because there's more
I don't think there's an
qualification,
argument to
whatever. But there's like an argument to make of whether like the footballing standard is different in the two different competitions, which compared to the Club World Cup is kind of the same thing. Because at the end of the day, it kind of is just like a mini Champions League with the best teams in all of the world. With that said, a lot of the teams in the rest of the world just aren't good compared to the European teams.
No, Euros, in my opinion, does not compare to the World Cup. And
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm saying player ability wise, and that's what I'm trying to compare it to the Club World Cup, and saying that like it's similar to the FIFA World Cup. So it's, I don't know. There's a lot of parallels you need to take in context that could make it, you know what, the best tournament of all time. Like it is the FIFA World Cup. Like it is for the international FIFA World Cup. But at the same time, it also could have a different.
I was talking about this with a friend, and he said like, "Oh, Club World Cup has really sold me." And then we started talking about like the future of football. He's like, "Yo, big play from FIFA is to one day this replaces the Champions League,
That's crazy.
and the Club World Cup
No,
becomes a yearly event
Absolutely.
that ends up replacing the champ." I'm like, bro, I don't know.
No.
Like if that would happen,
No,
which
I mean,
is
FIFA
which
would
is
love that.
obviously,
Yeah.
it would be 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
There's no way that happens
I
in
don't
the
think it
imminent
happens
future.
At all. Because you see what Champions League is expanding to now with the new format, how
Exactly.
successful it's been.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
no chance.
The history behind it.
And that's the thing too, right? Football is like the only sport that does this.
Yeah.
That has intercontinental matchups.
Mm-hmm.
The only sport that's ever really done it and on any level. And even so, it's still not like that. They're pretty much the only like team club sport that does like inter-country matchups, let alone intercontinental. No other sport does it. Besides like a friendly. Like you'll see like the women's team play, like the women's basketball team play whoever. So it's like the only sport, but go ahead.
See
I did.
Switzerland's national team.
What?
They played a U15 Swiss team.
I did.
Anyways,
Shout out Alicia Lehman though.
Yeah. Actually, Women's Euro is going on right now.
yes, it's about to
No
start.
way, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's
Allez, les
another.
Bleus.
That's another drawback. Is
Up thing? I don't know who I want to
is
win.
Poland in it?
Poland's
Is Portugal in it?
Poland's in it?
Poland's definitely in it. Oh. In a group with Germany.
Oh.
It's time for revenge, boys.
Yeah. Or girls. in this
gals.
case. Yeah. France in the group of death. England,
Is Portugal
France,
in it?
Netherlands in that group.
What's
Portugal is definitely in it in another group of death. Holy shit.
Spain?
I don't know if the women's teams are as good as the men's the men's teams, but
Is it a
Portugal are in a group with Belgium, Italy, Portugal, and Spain.
Spain. I think Spain's really good. Right?
Spain's obviously
Yeah.
very good.
Yes, Spain's the best.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway. See, I'm sorry. This is what happens when I come on the. I mean, maybe you guys had a lot of segues too, but I feel like I just.
Sometimes the segues are fun.
Yeah. I missed it.
They're needed at times.
I miss derailing the pod every
Yeah.
now and again.
We can get back on track now though.
Yeah.
Where is the track? I've lost sight
City.
of the track.
City.
City. What do we make of their performance in this game?
Bro, they're defensively, they were fucking shambles.
They were back to like their worst selves of
Yeah.
just opening up in
Bro,
transition.
Oh my God. I swear to God, like, Al Hilal had how many breakaways in the second half?
I
Like,
know.
4 or 5? Like, when does that ever happen in general in a game?
Yeah.
Let alone against City. Like, I know they were playing a high line, but Jesus, man.
That's
Rodri
the biggest
didn't
thing,
play.
man. Rodri didn't play.
He came on.
He came
Came
on,
on.
but he didn't start.
Yeah.
Which is where most of the opportunities
Yeah,
I feel
and-
behind came.
Yeah, fair.
Surprisingly, when he comes on, Al Hilal have significantly less chances.
Why though?
Still, yeah.
Didn't he start?
Yeah, and then he got taken off too at the end.
No, but then this also tells me that City are not taking this very seriously.
Yeah.
You're not pushing Rodri.
I mean, no, I
You
saw
know.
a City team that actually tried to.
I'm not saying they don't try, but I'm saying like if this is a Champions League quarterfinal, win or go home, Rodri is starting this
Probably.
game. I feel
Then they're still trying to get him back into the full
of
fitness,
course,
that kind of thing.
but they're not playing the whole let's ease him back into the team type of game.
Yeah.
If this is a very meaningful match to
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Or maybe it is because Pep is weird sometimes.
True.
You can't say that.
There's
for
that
sure.
too.
There's that for sure.
Yeah.
Marcus Leonardo, What a player.
Yeah.
What a player. Only like 23.
Top,
Really?
Yeah.
top goal scorer of the Club World Cup.
Is that
Or
right?
not.
Let me
No, I
check.
think it's Kane. So.
I think it's Di Maria with his 4 pens. I know he has 4, but I don't know if Leonardo has.
What Club World Cup? No, Kane has like 7 goals.
Kane has 3. Kane has 3.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't score any against Auckland, remember?
He didn't score any against Auckland. He scored 1 against.
Di Maria is the top scorer right now,
Scored 1
followed
against
by Jermaine Bertarame
Okay.
of Monterrey, Gonzalo Garcia of Real Madrid,
Yeah.
and Harry Kane and Yildiz.
Okay.
Marcos Leonardo has 3.
He also has 3, so he's 1 behind, tied for second with 10 other guys. It seems.
This Al Hilal team is really fun to watch.
Indeed, they are.
The fact that they took they beat City says a lot.
Mhm.
There's so many players in here that you just remember how good they are.
Yeah.
You almost forgot how good they are because they play in Saudi.
Yeah.
But now that you see them in front of your eyes, you see them play, they could still put in a level in Europe that is very, very high. I'm thinking
Yes.
of Milinkovic-Savic. who had a
SMS had such a good game.
Yes.
bro.
man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great game. And it's not only this game, his tournament has been spectacular. Ruben Neves is another player who plays for the Portuguese national team.
Yep. still
But
does.
you kind of forget how good he was and how good he is.
Yep.
His quality on the free kicks, his deliveries are insane.
Yep.
You still have Joao Cancelo, and the one player who I was really impressed with, if it isn't Bonu, is Koulibaly in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mouthed to him to guess.
Did you?
Yeah.
And it was Koulibaly?
I don't know if you saw.
I was gonna guess Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm was very good
He's
too.
good. He played great too.
Yeah.
But Koulibaly locks up Jeremy Doku throughout the entire
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Besides holding 3. But he was
He's at the root of many clearances where City crossed the ball in to try to get Holland to put his head on it. He's at the root of the clearance. He's sometimes at the root of getting the ball out, playing out from the back to start that counterattack. And then he scores the goal in extra time when nobody thought Al Hilal would ever score. He's the one that scores on that corner kick. It's incredible. And Bonu on top of that as well, who had a spectacular performance.
Oh my god, yeah.
What a team. What a team.
I know.
Yeah.
Does this like certify Inzaghi as a one of the goats of knockout style tournaments?
True.
That's a good point, actually.
I think
that's a really good point.
I think it's definitely up there. When we saw what he did in Champions League, and we see what he's doing with this Al Hilal team, who he's only been at the helm for less than a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less than a month actually.
I mean, in hindsight, looking at the names on paper, although they are old and out of Europe for a while, it's like, holy shit, this team is really decent.
Yes.
Like they should have been expected to definitely get out of the group. And then you look at them going up against one of the best teams in the world, and they looked right there with them.
Absolutely.
Not a step behind. It was fun to watch, man. And Cancelo too. with the
Cancelo,
assist
Renan
and-
Lodi, I thought was very good
Yeah.
too.
That's like these players, like these are decent little players. Like a lot of them are. Cancelo was once the best fullback in the world. Milinkovic-Savic was once the best center mid in Serie A. Like these players are not just randoms. Bono was like one of the best at the World Cup a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like you kind of just forget that these players were actually solid. When they go to Saudi and ruin their careers, some might say.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shit, they can still ball.
They can still
They
ball.
can still ball.
They
And
ball
they
here.
also have hunger too,
Yes.
which is what I'm
Oh yeah.
finding difficult to see in other teams.
Exactly.
But these lower teams, they have hunger. They
Well,
want to win.
And even like think about it from a player perspective, it must be like a bit of a fuck you. Like, yeah, I went for the money, but I still want to play football. I'm still doing what I love, and I'm making more money than you. So let me show you how good I really am.
yeah.
That could be a little bit of a boost in the ass as well for them. I don't know.
I like that
100%.
actually. Yeah. Shout out, man. And their draw against Real Madrid as well.
Yes.
Right, I
They've
forgot
put
about that.
on
Yeah.
they've put on great performances in this game.
Al-Dassari, man.
This honestly should not be overly surprising that Al Hilal is pulling off this
Kind of
upset.
shouldn't be. You're right.
Yeah. And now, like honestly, like I would give him a decent chance
At making the final.
at making the final.
Fuck it. Let him win it, bro. Like
That's for us.
I know.
City merely adopted the oil, but these guys were born in it.
Oh my god.
That is
That's a line
Oh
and a
my
half.
god. Did you just make that?
No, I saw a meme on it.
No.
I was gonna try lying, but no.
I had so much faith in you. Shit.
No, that was generational.
That was really good.
Holy
that
shit.
was really good.
I do love The Dark Knight Rises though. That was a great movie. That was a great movie. It would have been on the mind anyways. It would have been. It would have been.
Okay.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Real Madrid against Juventus, 1-0, lads. This was probably the game of the round 16, or at least the one that I had circled on my calendar.
The game
And
to watch
Real
out
Ma-
for. Because the game of the round of 16 was the last one we just talked
I'm
about.
saying like yeah.
The
Right.
one you
Right,
wanted,
look out
right,
for
right,
it.
the most
Yes.
the most anticipated.
Like the headline
Yes.
of
Yes.
the yes.
And all I can say is Real Madrid took care of business.
They did.
I said Juventus would get through.
You said a lot of teams would get through. Your whole left side of that bracket is just wrong.
That's crazy. I wish I was there for that, man.
I feel like it's harder, and that's no offense to you because you genuinely got unlucky. I think.
I also
but
picked it
I think it's harder
on
to
the
pick
spot.
to pick wrong than to do what he did. I think it is.
Yeah.
If you tried to pick wrong, you'd probably take Fluminense to win. You'd probably take Al Hilal to win, and you'd probably be positive in your
crazy.
bracket.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like you know how like I think I'm like 2 for 8.
Okay.
Three. Don't
3
forget
for
Dortmund.
8?
Don't forget Dortmund.
That's a level where
Wait,
it's like
2 or 3.
you can't be that wrong unless you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Is it 2 or 3? You have Dortmund
I
You
said
have
Dortmund would beat
PSG?
Monterrey.
and Bayern.
Yeah.
You
3.
So you said Madrid would lose.
Yeah. I said Madrid would lose. And I said
Casual.
Benfica. And I said Benfica would win.
Of course he did.
Of course. That was expected. He said Inter would win. He said City would win. He said Botafogo would win.
What's up?
Watch
I said
for.
Botafogo would win.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Yeah. Tough scenes. Tough scenes for me.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get a reinforcement very soon.
What?
They'll get a reinforcement very soon. Joe David.
Who?
Oh, Juve.
Yes. Yes, we'll get to Joe David.
Fuck him. Sorry. Well, not really.
Real Madrid took care of business in this game, I feel.
Yes.
They had another solid showing from Gonzalo Garcia. And from the entire team, you have to say.
Yeah.
They're continuing with the 3-back thing with Chouameni dropping back into the center backs, and they continue to look really good under Xabi Alonso.
And Rodrigo didn't play.
And Rodrigo didn't play.
That's literally the only reason why Blake watches.
That's
Real
all I
Madrid.
care, bro. That's all
Only
I
thing you care about.
He has a camera of Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah.
In the corner
Oh,
of
yeah.
his TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Just watching
Kepa
the
shirt in
activity.
the cart. Rodrigo shirt in the cart. We're there. We're there.
Question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Should Gonzalo Garcia stay the starter for Real Madrid?
No. No. But can he be a good backup striker? Absolutely. We were talking about this last pod. You don't need a Joselu-like striker. You don't need to sign a Joselu-like striker anymore. You have Gonzalo Garcia coming off the bench.
When is Mbappe back?
He's back.
Now.
Is he back?
He came back in this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He saw the bench and just...
I told you that's all I
Stopped.
watched. I mean, obviously not, but like, if Mbappe has a couple rough games, or like if he has a bad half, like he's proving that he's a very good option off the bench, and he's like scoring bangers, dude.
But look at how you're playing with Gonzalo Garcia in there, and look how well he's playing, and how neat and tidy
It
the team
flows
looks
very
right
well.
now. Look how well the team is flowing. Are you going to risk that flow to bring Mbappe in?
Are you going to risk that flow to bring in the best player in the world? I think you definitely have to break that flow.
You know
Risk
what?
that
Though?
flow.
I think Mbappe will learn about himself, or maybe Real Madrid will learn about him soon, or whoever he plays with next is at his best, and he'll be known at best as a left winger when it's all said and done. I think.
You
I don't
think so?
he'll be deployed as a left winger at all.
I think-
under
I
Xabi
think-
Alonso. I think he's coming in as at striker,
bringing in a
in
striker,
the role
yeah.
that he was playing against Juventus when he came on. And it was very different from Gonzalo Garcia. Gonzalo Garcia was kind of roaming in the box. He wasn't really coming back to link up play, but
Yeah.
Mbappe was when he came on.
Yeah.
That's what was very different. I didn't think it particularly worked well when Mbappe came on and he tried to link up play.
It was more him and Vinny interchanging, I
Yes.
felt like.
But with Gonzalo Garcia, it was more fluid between the midfielders. And we've said all season long that the big problem with this Real Madrid team was the loss of Cruz. Is that how do you replace Cruz? How do you make this midfield work while to make the attackers profit from that, to get the attackers to profit from that? And I think when Gonzalo Garcia was on the pitch, the midfield flowed very well. Very well. You saw Arda Güler in the midfield kind of as that guy to link the attacking midfield from the defense. You saw Valverde, who's kind of that guy that projects himself forward and now is getting in very, very promising areas. Don't be surprised if Valverde this season scores 10 plus goals, because it seems like he's getting in those areas now where he gets much
Yeah.
more chances. And then Bellingham, who's just that box-to-box midfielder that runs just like Valverde does. So now you really see that activity in the midfield. And I kind of saw it a little less when Mbappe came on, because he was trying to do the work that the midfielders were doing when Gonzalo Garcia was on. So it's definitely you need to balance those roles
Yeah.
very, very well. Like Xabi Alonso has done a great job at employing this 3-back system for now, getting this midfield to work, finding a use of Fran Garcia, because he wasn't really a good left back.
Yeah.
Now he's playing very well. But the big thing that I will judge him on is how he deals with Mbappe linking up with Vinicius and the midfield.
Exactly.
If he can deal with that well, then there's a serious team on our hands.
Yes.
But for now, I really like what Gonzalo Garcia was showing.
That's why I say that he should stay. Just don't risk it.
I
You
c-
want to
well,
win
no,
this
because you
tournament?
have-
Like for the rest of the tournament, you mean?
Yes, for the rest of the tournament.
I don't know, man.
No. I think you start Mbappe, but you're not against subbing on Gonzalo Garcia earlier in the game than you would
Fair.
if
Obviously.
you didn't know what he could prove
Like-
or what he could bring.
I'm still like so insistent that if Mbappe was in a different system, I'm telling you, when Ronaldo had his best moments, he was a left winger. When Messi had his
That's
best moments,
not completely true.
What?
He had great moments in other positions.
he's Ronaldo. He had great moments everywhere. But Ronaldo, in great times, was a left winger. Messi, before the turn of like the 2020s, with Barcelona, a right winger, obviously played through the middle as well, but a
Yes.
right winger. Now is the time for Mbappe to explore and utilize his speed and the utmost, in the most pristine position that he is, and with his body, with his mind, everything. I think as a winger, he's always been more threatening than through the middle.
Yeah.
Like you said here, he's doing too much. He's trying to play a different role as a striker that isn't working for the Real Madrid team. Again, what the fuck do I know? I'm not managing Mbappe, but from the eye test and what I see, what I think he could do as a left winger, man, I think he could literally just be the best fucking player ever.
Mhm.
Maybe not ever, but point stands. I don't know.
It's a fair point, but then what do you do with Vinny?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. He will
Well, I
never will
think
be.
In reality, what it's going to be is a lot of those, like them two interchanging a lot. You
Like
saw
up
in this
top and
game,
on the left.
yeah.
Mm.
You saw Vinny go to the middle while Mbappe drifts wide. Then you saw them switch, and you saw them switch again. So he's kind of like playing both positions
Yeah.
simultaneously in these games.
Yeah.
And I think he'll continue to do that under Xabi Alonso in an ideal world. And I think he could absolutely cook in this system.
Fair.
Going back to the game, Madrid kicked into gear in the second half. Outside of like Di Gregorio and a couple of good moments from Kenan Yildiz, wasn't a lot to note
Yeah, I was
from
very
Juventus.
disappointed with this Juve team. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, outside of that link-up play between Kenan Yildiz and Colomwani in the first 10 minutes of the game, where
Yeah.
Colomwani's one-on-one
Yeah,
with
and the
Courtois
chip
and
goes over.
chips it right over.
Yeah,
There's not much to be fed with this Juve team in this game.
precisely.
So, yeah, I wasn't really impressed from base of what I saw earlier in the tournament against Al Ain and against Wydad Casablanca. Maybe now it shows that Al Ain and Wydad Casablanca were really that bad of a team that it made Juve look so proficient in
I
attack
guess.
and in the game in
I
general.
guess, yeah.
Good point.
But Colomwani missing another 1v1.
You missing him at PSG at all?
Oh,
no,
they're
not
fine.
at PSG. I'm okay.
They're fine.
But
They're fine.
not a really good 1v1 player. And
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Unfortunately, this guy up here, who you guys can't see, but we have Emi Martinez in the top left of our studio.
When are we gonna change that? By the way, Jesus.
This guy's staying here for a long time, though.
This will become a Mamelodi Sundowns game.
I think so
Yes, this can stay till the beginning of the season.
too.
That's fair, because
Sure.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you can wear it.
Yeah, I can wear it.
Yeah.
A little big on me, but we'll grow.
Fair.
Speaking of kits,
Speaking of kids,
I want to give a quick shout out to these guys.
yes.
What a segue.
You have the brand new PSG kit for next season.
Yep.
You have the brand new
With-
Arsenal one.
With Hakimi on the back.
Oh yes,
Ballon d'Or.
and myself as well. With
Do the thing, Blake. Do the thing.
Hey, you want me to
Do the thing, Blake. Do the thing, Blake. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I am once again stiffed by a player changing numbers.
Yeah.
Amad Diallo is very possibly not going to be number 16 anymore. And Lamine Yamal, whose kid I also got for
yes.
next season with 19, is also changing
What is
his
Lamine
number.
Yamal doing with all these teasers? Of his,
Listen, bro, he's
Weird,
just
eh?
aura farming. Just aura
He's,
farming.
bro,
But
he's
he's-
such an aura
the-
farmer, bro.
This is the
He's
shit
gonna
I
change
dreamed of
numbers.
doing as a professional footballer when I was 17.
he's changing numbers. Like it's almost anything but confirmed. Like it's almost confirmed.
It is confirmed, yes.
But he's saying 19 is my number. I'll write my legacy.
Did he say that?
On his story, I think I saw that.
Did he?
And now he's posting.
Did he say I'll write my legacy or I wrote my legacy?
No, 19 is my number. Something like that. That's
Did
what
he
I
say
saw.
that? I saw the pictures of the 19s in
And then
Barca
now-
kits.
now I'm
But
seeing-
now we're seeing the 10s in the Barca
No, now I'm
kits.
seeing a 1 with a question mark next to it.
Oh. Apparently, yesterday was Barca's like highest selling jersey day ever
Yeah.
Because Lamine Yamal posted that thing of Maradona on his story and Messi on his story with a number 10, and that confirms basically, okay, it's done. He'll wear number 10. If he doesn't now,
So
Fuck
much
you, man.
money.
They're gonna have to
It's so
offer
funny.
free number changes or something like that.
they won't.
Well, no, they won't.
They just won't.
Well, they don't need to. Well, it's not. It's
know,
not,
I'm just
nothing was confirmed, right? But anyways, Amad Diallo.
Amad Diallo is probably going to change number 2. I don't even know what to, but
Take Mount 7.
Mount's not fucking leaving, bro.
Really?
Which sucks, but yeah.
Anyways, shout out New Jersey's plug. Thank you
Yes.
for the kids.
Okay. Meanwhile, yes. Point of this is, oh my God. Point of this is, we got it from our boy New Jersey Plug, who has hooked us up a number of times. So
Literally
far.
hooked us up with almost
With
the
the
entire
Fabian
decor of
kit,
the
with the
studio.
Emi Martinez kit,
Yes.
with these kits, with numerous
Many,
kits
many
in the
kits.
past. So many thank you to you. If you want to head over to NewJersey'sPlug.com and use code 6YardBox at checkout, you can get yourself a little 15% discount, and is the best way to support the pod.
And
so
they're
shout out
good.
to you. Shout out to New Jersey
There's a
Plug.
good catalog in there too. These are good kits. They feel nice too.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to say.
And shout out Amad Diallo.
No,
Shout out Hakimi.
You said he's overrated.
I was just trying to rage bait you.
Yeah. You got to do that when the mics are on.
I mean, he's like all right. He's all right. Nothing special.
Okay. Anything else to say about the Real Madrid game?
I reckon not.
No.
Great cross by Trent.
Great cross by Trent. That's yes.
Everyone needs to get off. I'm trying to do you in that clip.
No,
Do
but
I
he's
sound
right.
like that?
No, that's like me.
I'm
Like,
kidding. I'm kidding.
that's me. You're regurgitating
But
it.
he's right though. Everyone needs to get up.
Yeah, of course they do.
That cross reminded me of his Liverpool crosses.
it's all the Scousers, dude. They're just mad.
They're so salty. And they're going to be so fun.
Liverpool Trent-esque cross.
I think, I do think Frimpong will not have the best start to his Liverpool career.
I think there's no reason for him not to.
I think it's a very lukewarm take.
Really?
Really?
He just said there's no reason for him not to.
No, I think I've been seeing so much discourse about his defensive
That's exactly
inefficiencies.
why. Although Trent was never.
So I think there's a
that-
big narrative that he's going to really struggle in the
Trent's
Prem.
defensive frailties were just very vast. They were either really bad, but he wasn't a terrible defender altogether.
No.
He just had
It
really
was-
bad moments.
It was way overblown.
Yeah.
But now there's actually a terrible
There's
defender
actually a
going.
guy who just didn't really play defense. Anyway.
Yes.
Is this like the most excited
Yes.
we've been for a Premier League
Yes.
season?
I
Upcoming
ca-
Premier League season?
I
Ooh.
cannot freaking wait, dude.
In a long time, I feel like, because
I'm
all the
not
top...
excited.
No? Oh, yeah. Fuck.
I'm so excited.
No, but all the top teams are... They're signing all these top players.
Well,
you have City signing
hopefully.
one of the best players in Liga, Tijani Reinders, who was probably Milan's best player. They're signing top. What?
City are winning their first 15 games straight, and it's going to be over by November.
Yeah.
And we're all going to
I'm
be
saying
like,
from
what
the
fuck?
hype of all these teams signing these,
I'm super
these good
excited.
players. Like Liverpool signed Kirkes, Wirtz, and Frimpong. Like we're almost gonna have a new look of teams that were already very good, and that can be even better now. Even like Nottingham Forest signing Igor Jesus, who we saw
They're falling
at
off.
the Club World Cup.
They're falling off.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm excited.
I'm excited, dude.
I'm excited.
I'm very
I'm excited for United to come 8th.
Eighth.
That's. I'm so scared for first week though. I feel like you guys might batter us. Well, not batter. us.
Batter.
You might win.
I'm at goal to feed families.
Oh,
We're watching that together.
no.
Yes, we are.
Watch along. Watch
Watch
along.
along. Live stream
Watch
or something.
along.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Yes. Shall we move on to Dortmund?
You can move on to Dortmund.
Garassi brace. Monterrey had their chances. Little
Monterrey.
Ramos header at the death of the game. If that
Yes.
went in, heritage.
Heritage.
But it didn't. It was 2-1. And yeah.
I mean, fairs.
That's all
I didn't
say,
watch
really.
this game either. I'm gonna
You would
be
almost
honest, so.
expect them to win based
Yeah.
off just the names on the pitch.
Exactly. Listen, it was Canada Day yesterday. We weren't that locked in for it.
Yeah. Shout out the Jays, bro. They're such a wagon.
Shout out fireworks.
You did some?
No, I saw some.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. it's
Did
pretty
you
cool.
go to see some?
I went to Centennial Park where we played soccer.
Nice.
They have a big show there.
You
every
played
time.
soccer without me?
I didn't play soccer.
We've gone where we've played
Oh,
soccer.
okay.
Us three
Oh,
have
okay.
played soccer.
Sorry, I got jealous.
It's okay. We'll go sometimes this summer. Apparently not
Yes.
actually.
Bro, they were
we keep
hyping up this
delaying
big fireworks show. There's literally thousands of people. Parking lots are full. I had to park 15 minutes away
Yeah.
and walk over to the
Holy
park.
shit.
Yeah,
I
it
saw
was massive. 15-minute show.
I saw fireworks
I
from the
mean,
backyard. I'm good.
that's like not bad. 15-minute show's not bad.
So walking over 20 minutes to see a 15-minute show, I was
Yeah.
like,
That's why you just gotta go to Disney. The fireworks are good.
Are they?
every fucking day.
Where do we begin?
Okay. Anyways, Anyways,
Dortmund did the job.
get their job done.
Bit
Now
of a
they're
knob,
playing-
but did the job.
Now they're going up against
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. And there
You
it
didn't
is.
know that?
I did know that. I did just slipped my mind a little bit.
I know.
I mean,
those
because
ones.
since you didn't predict it, then you had Juventus in
All
mind. It makes
right.
sense.
Yellow card.
It's all
One
love.
too
Unnecessary
many, you know?
roughing.
It's all love.
Flag on the play.
Fly on the play. Unnecessary roughness. I can't wait for football season to be back.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
We could go to Canada talk.
Yeah, we can. Disgraceful.
Disgraceful.
I
is
don't
the
like
word.
the words. There's no words to.
Number
Describe.
30 in the world to number 108. That's what they are.
Yeah, they. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Canada. Since the turn of the Copa America, since we got out of that tournament,
Yes.
which is a very, very
Yes.
respectable showing.
Very
The football
respectable.
has been absolutely dreadful, and that's why
Yes.
I was talking to people, and someone may have deluded me a little bit, but they said, does Jesse Marsh need to go? And I was like, you know what? Maybe he does. And you know what? And Leeds fans themselves hated Jesse Marsh by the end of his tenure simply because the football was so awful. There was like no emphasis on winger play. It was all central because that's where you score the goals, and they would just try their best to just shove everything through the middle to get the best chances, but it doesn't work. Modern football needs wingers.
I think Marsh has pretty good will. I think I think I'm like keeping the faith a little bit, but I am concerned.
Yeah.
I am concerned that we're doing a little bit. It's a little bit too unstructured. It's a little bit too frail. I know there's extenuating circumstances like the red card in this game. Overall, not having our best players at this tournament.
Yeah.
How seriously can we judge it? Dane Sinclair in the shootout was a bit of a
Jesus
travesty
Christ.
once again. But I do absolutely agree with you. Ever since Copa America, we have not performed well in any meaningful game
Absolutely.
besides the 6-0 in our opener.
Yeah.
But besides that, disappointing draw, like barely scraped by 9 men, and then we lose to Guatemala.
You could see it coming,
So since Copa America, we've had what, like beating the U.S. in a friendly?
pretty much.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
Beating Ukraine.
Beating Ukraine, and that's it.
I don't know. It's just really disappointing. To be considered one of the best in the league or best in the world, you just have to win games like that. And despite the lack of players that we had, despite the circumstances with the red card, you would expect something better. You would just expect them to rally and just do better than what they did. And it's a disappointment to all of Canada. It's a disappointment heading into the World Cup in just a year's time, less than a year's time.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. Not good, not good, not good.
This is really worrying for Canada.
There's a lot of players, again, passengers who are just who just don't need to be on this team anymore. I'm talking about Kyle Larin. I'm talking about Dane Sinclair. I'm talking about players like Osorio, who has been a legend for TFC. I love the guy, but it's just not cutting it anymore. It's just unfortunate, man.
Lorea?
No, he's fine.
Yeah,
I've seen some critics of Lorea.
He's just a hothead. That's the only thing, but he's fine. At fullback, I don't mind
What
him.
about Alistair?
Johnston?
Johnson.
Yeah, no,
He's
he's good.
He's fine.
I'm fine with him, too. The
They're playing in
fullbacks-
Europe for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to judge it because it was a heavily rotated team.
No, it's embarrassing. Either way.
Of course, it's embarrassing. It's fucking Guatemala. It's like, we also had Eustachio in the team as well. He was listed.
I
just
know.
gone out
So
of
that's why
Porto, but
that's the one saving grace, right? No Davies, no Eustachio.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're a much different team with Davies. I have to maintain.
Yeah, like everyone has the thing is, like, the nations will have their star players. Like Poland obviously has Lewandowski, and like Holland is Norway, and I guess they have Odegaard, a couple other players. But I think with Canada too, when our star player is missing, we actually should have the depth to do a lot more without him. But the fact that I think we're too reliant on Hibbs, not even him playing well, but him taking a lot of attention away from the rest of the team. When that's not there, and when his ability to just like drive through the midfield and get in behind, when that's not there, it's like you can just man mark everyone and it's kind of over. But it's his attention that he draws away from the rest of the attackers, I think really was missed in this game. But they sucked anyway, so.
If you're giving Jesse Marsh a grade on his time at Canada, what would it be?
after this performance, like a B-.
I'd give it a solid. I'd attempt a B+ for me
Yeah.
because he's also done things outside
done
of just managing the team that I
facts.
think is very.
He's trying to
commendable.
grow football in the
You
country,
can
which is
tell
great.
how invested he is in
Yeah.
Canadian football,
Agreed.
which you wouldn't expect from a American manager.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also so much like U.S. bias against Canada, and so like every time I turn on
I
ESPN
know.
FC, they are hating
US
so
suck.
hard on Jesse Marsh.
The U.S. are terrible.
They are.
They've lucked into.
They have a good keeper though. I've seen.
What's that?
They have a good keeper.
What's his
though, I've
name?
seen.
Freeze.
Freeze?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saved 3 out of 6 pens in
I
this
mean,
tournament.
yeah. Thank God it's not Matt Turner anymore. He's goddamn awful.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Going to Monaco, I think. He's going to a
Is
French
he?
team.
Is he
That's
now?
crazy.
Damn.
That's crazy.
How old is he? 26. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canada is super disappointing once again, and this is the last competitive match we are going to play until the World Cup on home soil. So I'm a little worried, little Shakesville,
Indeed.
but I'm keeping a bit of faith.
Yeah.
Diluted, maybe, but
Yeah.
I still have faith in Marsh. I still have faith in the boys, at least the starters, and I feel like in like 11 months' time, it'll be different.
I don't really think we should do transfers because we're running a little late. And there's been a lot, but a lot of not a huge news. But let's talk about David going to Juve.
Let's talk about it. What do you think about it?
I think it's a really good move for him.
Yeah,
I think it's honestly one of the better teams he could have gone to.
Yeah.
Because they are trying to get back to a place of titles, of, consistent Champions League victories, that kind of thing. I think it's good for him. I think it's good. I think it's definitely a step up from Lille, would you say?
100%.
Yeah.
I wasn't really expecting it to be such a big team, if I'm being really honest.
Me either.
I thought it was going to be something more like an Atalanta because something like that where I saw Retegui leaving to a bigger club and then Jonathan David coming in to replace him.
Where'd Retegui go?
He's still at Atalanta for now.
Oh,
But just good
I
chance
understand
to
you.
make
I
You
was
could have
just-
seen
I
that
could have
happening.
seen that
Understood.
happening. That was
Okay.
a potential scenario that could have been happening.
Yeah.
But no, it's very good for him. I don't know if Colomwani's definitely coming back. I think I don't think PSG or I don't think Juve are taking that option to buy him, even though I think they should because he's been really good
Good
for them.
depth in it.
But yeah, Vlahovic hasn't been very good for Juve over the last couple of years. They definitely need a new profile up there, a new player up there, and Jonathan David could be that guy.
could be. Okay.
Although a lot of penalty goals in this Liga campaign.
Fair.
6 penalties of his 16.
True.
goals.
I was a little bit worried there that nobody really wanted him. I'm still a little weird vibe there, but we'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. If he had gone to like an Arsenal or United, would you have been excited for him?
No.
Excited for him? Maybe. I don't want him at Arsenal.
From an I didn't really want him at United.
Which
to be
sucks to
honest.
say. As like a backup striker, sure. But that's not what he wants to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else to go through in this episode?
No. I'll come next week with like a bunch of transfer talks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like that. So it'll be quarterfinal review next week.
It'll
Yeah.
be quarterfinal
Last
review on
game, we
Monday.
can
A
talk.
little draft in there, perhaps.
Perchance, if you can take that edit, then yeah.
I'll take the edit.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
problem.
I'll also post that YouTube video today.
Yes, sounds good.
Very nice.
Okay. We're not doing fantasy.
Oh, we are doing fantasy.
fuck?
Yes, we are doing
Oh.
fantasy.
Fuck.
We are doing
That's you,
fantasy
go
and
ahead.
outro.
Damn it.
Blake, can we agree on the forfeit this guy has to do because he's definitely
No,
well, I don't know
it's-
because I might have to do it.
The deadline
let's
is
just-
passed. The deadline is passed.
he's 20 something points back. He's gonna lose.
No, I don't know.
You still have your chips to play. You're gonna be fine.
So I should like actually lock in.
You
It's
should
just-
probably lock in.
Yeah.
Play a wild card.
Okay.
And
so
so
sad.
so just let's decide the forfeit now so that
Okay.
he has to do it.
I don't know.
No, but this had to be
He buys the Mamelodi Sundowns kit.
Okay,
Yeah.
bet. Okay, easy.
Yeah?
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
bet. I'll do that.
Perfect.
100%.
Lovely.
I'll hit up New Jersey's plug on the down low.
Yeah.
No. I'll buy it. That's no problem.
I tried that.
Bro, I want to wear that myself.
Yeah, I kind of do too. You buy everyone a memory, so that's good.
Oh.
Oh.
Heard you
I'll
got
see
extra pay this weekend.
Oh.
All right. Anyways, boys. The league is looking over.
Over.
Yeah, it's looking over. You still won this week. What the fuck?
I did.
Yeah, you said Miles is
Yeah, I
looking...
just managed it very well.
Okay. All right. I lost by 20 points this week. Blake, did you even remember the deadline?
I haven't touched it since like at the Rhinos Casino at all.
So unfair.
Very well played though. He knew that he didn't have to.
I
make
knew
it.
I didn't have to. I think most of my players were playing either way,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Go over it, Julian.
I had Julian Alvarez, Samu, Jimenez,
Last
Asensio
time I
didn't
checked,
play.
they're not in the tournament.
Yeah. It doesn't really.
Yeah. But to be fair, I had Varaskelia, captain,
For 6 points.
for 6 points. Palmer for 8. Adeyemi for 9. Arias with 8. Hoyson for 7. Vardiol for -1. And that's it.
Nice.
42 points for me. Moving on to Blake
How did I
with
do?
63 points.
How
beaten by
did Rodrigo
21
go to
points.
Arsenal do?
You know what? It
Same.
actually looked close for there for a minute, but didn't fucking happen. Kane captain, purely out of luck.
You
got
can
him
only blame that on
24
yourself, by the
points.
way.
Thanks.
Not out of luck. Why would I? That's not out of luck. He's a good player.
Good little player.
Good little player.
Yeah.
Trent with 10. Nuno Mendes was 7. Darasqueta was 7.
That's a good player.
Vitinha was 6. Hoyson on your bench was 7.
Did he come on?
No.
No,
Oh.
they don't do that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mamelodi Miles in second for the week.
I thought he was 2 points behind me at some point in the week.
Wow.
I thought he was going to overtake me.
Kane also with 24 points. Hakimi with 14. Tellez with 6. Di Maria with 8. Darasqueta with 6. Vitinha with 6. And no one else. 62 points for Miles, or 72 points for Miles, sorry. And Mastastuoningu manager continues his dominance in this league.
Have I lost 1 week yet or no?
I think Miles beat you last week.
Okay.
With Alex Tellez with 6. Hakimi for 14. Arias with 8. Darasqueta with 14. Kane with 12. Garassi with 12. Good week for you.
Wow.
you.
Quite good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So current standings are Mastastuoningu almost 100 points. Over 4th place already. Mamelodi Miles in second. Only, now like 20 some points behind you. Rodrigo goes to Arsenal with 229 points. And
Cool little name,
I'm doing my best. 28 points.
You
behind.
clearly are not.
I think he can do it a little better.
I think you can do it a lot better.
Yeah, I was not doing my best this week.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
And Rodrigo will go to Arsenal.
Perchance.
I'll put my life on it.
Wow.
Well, that's crazy. Sorry.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this will do it for another episode of the 6ixYardBox podcast. I hate fantasy so much, but I love this podcast.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you once again to the New Jersey's Plug for hooking us up once again.
Thank you
again,
so
you
much.
can go over to his website and use code 6YardBox for 15% off. Why wouldn't you want to do that? It is the first link down in the description. Go ahead and get yourself a nice little 25-26 kit. All right. Again, this has been myself, European champion, Antoine, Blake. Enjoy the rest of the Club World Cup, and we will talk to you right after the quarterfinals ends. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a little 5-star rating. Let us know who you got winning the entire thing, and we will see you all on Monday.
We out.
Yeah.